How long does autonomous learning take? Gymnasts practice daily for about 8 years to become proficient. Motor learning researchers studied the manual hand skills of cigar makers. Beginner cigar makers worked 3 times slower than experienced cigar makers. Becoming fully skilled required making 3 million cigars. 3 million repetitions were also needed for Japanese pearl handlers to become proficient. The Suzuki method of teaching violin to children requires the production of about 2.5 million notes. Basketball, football, and baseball throws require about 1 million practice throws. This suggests that making fluent speech automatic and effortless requires saying about 3 million syllables. At 5 syllables per second, talking 4 hours a day, just your time talking, not combined talking and listening, you could produce 3 million syllables in about 6 weeks. If you got a job answering telephone calls, and you did your stuttering therapy skills on every call, and you connected a biofeedback device into your telephone to alert you when you missed a therapy target, and you spent your free time at Toastmasters clubs making speeches or volunteering at a hospital's information desk, fluent speech might become automatic for you in 6 weeks. But most stutterers practice between 10 minutes and 1 hour per day. If they were silent for the rest of the day, they'd say 3 million syllables somewhere between 6 months and 3 years. No one has studied whether using undesirable motor skills cancels out on-target practice. In other words, does half an hour on-target practice get cancelled out by not using fluency skills the rest of the day? Such a practice schedule might take years to produce automatic fluent speech, or might never work. Zen in the art of stuttering. Zen is the everyday mind, as was proclaimed by Bazo, died 788. This everyday mind is no more than sleeping when tired, eating when hungry. As soon as we reflect, deliberate, and conceptualize, the original unconscious is lost and thought interferes. We no longer eat while eating. We no longer sleep while sleeping. The arrow is off the string, but does not fly straight to the target. Calculation, which is miscalculation, sets in. The archer's confused mind betrays itself in every direction and every field of activity. Stuttering is what you do, trying not to stutter again. The goal of stuttering therapy is spontaneous fluent speech. The goal of Zen is to do life activities without self-conscious calculating and thinking. Non-stutterers usually talk without self-conscious calculating and thinking, but sometimes they are self-conscious about their speech. Fear of public speaking is common, and non-stutterers are self-conscious about asking the boss for a raise, or asking someone out on a date, or when discussing an embarrassing project. Speech language pathologists call this pragmatics, the mental effort of calculating the listener's reaction to your speech. In the Zen framework, pragmatics is the calculation that is miscalculation. A goal of stuttering therapy could be to become a Zen master of speech, just as other Zen masters are archers or swordsmen or calligraphers. To make an analogy to Bazoo, You sleep when tired, eat when hungry, and talk when you need to communicate. You don't worry about the listener's reaction. You don't fear embarrassment. If the listener doesn't do what you expect or want, you don't get upset. You also talk fluently. But let's define fluency as if we're learning a foreign language. You need vocabulary to express your thoughts, grammar so your meaning isn't misconstructed, and accent and articulation to be understood. Mild stutterers may be okay if your listener understands you and you don't fear or avoid speaking. Van Riper called this fluent stuttering, and a Zen master might call it fluency, which is not fluency.